just 24 years old, which means he's too young to contest these elections, but he's already hogged media headlines and mind space. He wears what's often called India's most famous surname. He's often described as the other Gandhi. Our day in the life of Varun Gandhi begins here at his residence in New Delhi, a house he shares with his mother, Maneka Gandhi. Varun, hi, finally met you. So your mother's not here, and is it a sort of strange, chaotic home without a mother at this moment?
Alone?
Home Alone?
I think it would be old for that.
Too old for Home Alone.
That's right.
I read in one of your interviews, Varun, that you said, I'm a lawyer by education, a politician by employment, and a poet by inclination.
No, I didn't.
No?
I actually was joking. It's
Oh,
just that nobody understood what I was saying. What I said
Your
was...
sense of humor is too ironic for us,
seriously,
right?
not for you, but anyway.
Yeah,
but what I said was, I said I'm a lawyer by education, a poet by passion, and a politician by unemployment. That's what I said. Yeah,
okay.
That's what I said.
Okay, someone obviously missed the joke. At 24, you're waking up on a Saturday morning.
Oh, it's Saturday today?
It's Saturday. This is how we're spending our weekend.
Okay, well.
Bleary-eyed, off to the dusty lands of Pilibhit.
Seriously.
Is it fun?
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. I mean, I'm happy we're actually going to Pilibhit today because I actually do know some people there, and I've been going there off and on for about, what, 6 years now? I mean, the first time I went there was in '89 when my mother fought for the first time, and then sort of so on and so forth.
I want to know some of the paintings
This
in
is,
this room. It's like plastered with paintings. Do you paint as well?
No.
No?
No. Yeah, I write. And my second book should be out in July.
Also poems? What's it called? The first one was called The Otherness of Self.
Yeah, I've got two titles. One is called The Ecstasy of the Tragic. Because
does that describe your life right now?
Seriously, now and forever.
Now and forever.
No, I'll tell you what it is actually. I think my poetry alternates between strength and weakness. The poetry itself alternates between strength and weakness. So it's like there's this very tragic element, and I see this element in my own life as well, which is why I was talking to you about this book, The Kennedy Curse.
Yeah, we were talking about this.
I haven't finished it as yet.
But someone would say that, you know, the Kennedy family, the Gandhi family, some parallels there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah?
And there's this statement in this book about how the Kennedys have sort of broken the rules of karma and were ultimately broken by them. Can I see it for a second? There's...
Does the Gandhi name haunt you in some way? You know what I'm trying to say?
No, I mean, I know exactly what you're trying to say. No, it doesn't haunt me because, you know, it's all I've ever... It's all I've ever known. It's the only life that I've ever known. So I mean, life haunts me, but not my name.
Is reading a book like The Kennedy Curse, is there a Gandhi curse, as it were?
Yeah, let me read you some more.
Sure.
It says, of course the Kennedys have never been satisfied with being merely different from the rest of us. In their take no prisoners approach to life, they must always be the best. And it you know, sort of, it says they had to act as if they were brave, courageous and fearless, which frequently translated into impulsive and reckless behavior and the inevitable tragic collisions with reality. It talks about
uncannily. I mean,
sure.
Really
Look
about
at
the Gandhi family.
Absolutely. Look at my father and my uncle, my grandmother.
Yeah. So who's the painter now?
And I'll just show you. We'll just go to my workroom.
Yeah.
And that's by VP Singh.
Yeah, which you said.
Yeah. And that's very much, I think, I told him, I said, that's very much like you because it's hidden.
You know,
yeah, it's hidden. I mean, it's so amorphous. You can't tell what it really is all about.
And that's pretty much VP Singh.
Yeah, and he's very complicated as a person.
So who's the passionate art collector in this family?
I think both my mother and I, but of course, like everything else, I've learnt it from her.
And when you say this is your workroom, what does that mean?
That is my workroom.
Oh, we haven't seen the workroom yet. Okay.
That is Hidlekar with the dogs. Get it? That's very sort of pop art.
Critics would say that you're being pulled into these other parts of the country because you're a Gandhi. You know, that at this point in your life, if someone in Rajasthan wants
but
you to come...
that is true, Barkha. Does my name give me an advantage? Of course.
In some ways, does it annoy you that you're sometimes called the other Gandhi? You know, as if I don't want to make it an us and them thing, but they came before and then you came, and they're really that Rahul, Priyanka, Rajiv and Sonia were the original family, and then there's you and Menika and
I'll tell you. The thing is that I think it's really funny because I think this is really a media invention, and I think that this is really a sort of a media invention. I think the media likes to slot people, and I think that that's okay because that makes things easier. But when I look at the traditional role of a Nehru Gandhi, I think that it is my mother who has sort of really defined this role in the last 20 years.
There are those who say that it's kind of the end of ideology for you and the BJP to be on the same side today, because the emergency was really a landmark moment. L.K. Advani went to jail, all of that happened.
Prime Minister went to jail.
Prime Minister went to jail. Your father being sort of associated, the face of the emergency, and now you're both on the same side. Where do you reconcile that?
Well, firstly, I disagree that my father was the face of the emergency. I think that there were a lot of circumstances which took place, which is why the emergency was imposed. I think everybody who has any sense would say that the emergency was a mistake. My father said it, my grandmother said it, they publicly apologized for it. And let's not forget, they were voted back to power 1.5 years later. By who? By everybody.
No, but that doesn't necessarily make it right.
Of course not. And they apologized for it, which is why they were voted back. Had they said it was a wonderful thing, then obviously they would not have been voted back.
So is there an ideological meeting ground today?
Yes. And the ideological meeting ground is progress, is development, is a platform from which to work. There's all this talk of it being communal, right?
Yeah.
But the first free and fair elections in Kashmir were held under this government. They've served under a Muslim president. There is an atmosphere today of peace, peace engenders progress.
Okay, Varun, before we board, I want to ask you maybe a slightly painful, tough question. Your father was killed in an air crash. So, in a sense, is there that kind of unease each time you board one of these little jets?
God, that is a tough question. Yeah, my father crashed his own plane though.
Yeah.
So it was significantly smaller and sort of less safe than these. But you have to look forward. You can't let the ghosts of the past eat you up inside. Doesn't he look like VP Singh exactly? Isn't he a spitting image?
He's like the squirrel on your wall.
कैसे हो पंजी? कैसे हो? नमस्कार. कैसे हो? नमस्कार जी. नमस्कार तिवारी जी. कैसे हो आप? कभी-कभी आप छोटे लोगों को भी तो याद किया करो. सब लोग भाजपा के पक्के लोग बन गए हो कि नहीं? चलो बढ़िया है.
Approaching Pilibhit, where Menika Gandhi, Varun Gandhi's mother, has won 5 successive elections, and she's now in the battlefield for a 6th time. Maneka Gandhi, of course, was once part of the NDA government but was unceremoniously dropped. But now that she's officially a part of the BJP fold, sources say that she's been promised a cabinet ministry if the NDA comes back to power. The fact that Maneka Gandhi and Varun Gandhi are today members of the BJP is another example of India's many political ironies. Sanjay Gandhi, Varun's father, who died when he was just 100 days old, was one of the poster boys of India's emergency years. And the BJP's entire top leadership, including the Deputy Prime Minister and the Prime Minister, went to jail to protest against the emergency. Today, they're all standing on the same side, posing for the perfect photograph. But insiders say this is a relationship that could yet prove to be uneasy over the years. The BJP may slam the Congress for playing so-called dynastic politics, but the fact is that the BJP too has pulled in Varun Gandhi to campaign and canvass for them in several different parts of the country, primarily because he's an inheritor of the Gandhi legacy. But in this Gandhi versus Gandhi battle, there are two areas in Uttar Pradesh where Varun Gandhi has so far refused to campaign: Amethi and Rai Bareli, the constituencies of his aunt and first cousin, Sonia and Rahul Gandhi.
जय श्री राम।
आज मैं उत्तर प्रदेश के एक प्रमुख संसदीय क्षेत्र में नहीं बोल रहा हूं। आज मैं केवल अपने मां के चुनाव प्रचार में नहीं आया हूं, आज मैं अपने घर में बोल रहा हूं। 1 महीने पहले जब यहां पे एक शेर ने लोगों के ऊपर प्रहार किया था, तो मेरी मां ने मुझे बोला कि बेटा तुम जाओ और तुम घर घर जाओ, वहां पे लोगों की सहायता करो। मैं घर घर गया। वो शेर तो यहां से हम लोगों ने भगा दिया। अब पीलीभीत में कोई शेर नहीं होगा, कोई पीलीभीत में शेर नहीं है, लेकिन एक शेरनी जरूर है। उस शेरनी का नाम मुझे बोलने की कोई आवश्यकता नहीं। मुझे इतना बढ़िया बोला, कोई ताली नहीं बजाएगा।
Even the strident Vinay Katiyar, who has in the past made several direct attacks on the Congress president, made no reference at all in this speech to Sonia Gandhi or the issue of foreign origin. And Varun and Maneka Gandhi, perhaps because they're on home turf here, made no mention at all of their estranged family. However, in some campaigns in other parts of the country and in some interviews, Varun Gandhi has taken some gentle swipes at his cousins and also spoken out on the issue of foreign origin. But he insists that he will not make the campaign against his family vicious or personal. I heard your speech, I heard Varun's speech, I heard even Vinay Katiyar's speech, and it was quite amazing how low all three speeches were on what would be called rhetoric. Was that a conscious decision?
Yes, it is. We really don't do anything that is harmful or hurtful. That's been a policy of mine for a long time.
That you don't talk about your opponents at all?
No, not at all.
No?
I don't talk about my opponents. I generally also, when I'm in Pili, don't talk about the state of the nation. I talk about Pili. I found that people are far more interested in what pertains to themselves and in actual practical terms. So I talk about what they want.
And many people thought that Vinay Katiyar, known to be a strident politician, would talk about Sonia Gandhi and foreign origins. Were those orders from you to keep mum?
Well, let's just say that in my constituency, everybody is very polite.
Well, would Sonia Gandhi's foreign origins be an issue for you? A political issue?
Well, they're not an issue for me in Pilibhit. But I'm quite clear also that if you can't have in the defense ministries, if you can't have foreign wives, if you can't in the external affairs, then there is a problem with the head of state. I also think that suppose I were, by some hideous mischance, to arrive in England and become the head of the Conservative Party, would they allow me to become Prime Minister? Would they allow Lord Swaraj Paul? Perhaps not.
How would you say you're different in that way?
Well, I've learned everything I know from my mother. And as I said to you in the morning,
you hope not.
I hope not.
And
I hope you learned much more because.
No, and I'm very clear that I'm not a politician. I'm campaigning this time, and let's see where this road leads. But I think my mother has taught me compassion, and she's taught me discipline, and I hope to put them to the test this time.
Spoken like a good son, but can I ask you, I was asking Varun in the morning, do you guys ever quarrel? And he gave me a very diplomatic answer.
I suppose when you have a mother and son, and I brought him up virtually alone with the help of my family, then yes, we disagree on so many things, but we agree on all the fundamentals. And ultimately, as I said, every sibling, every relationship with a child, you disagree some of the time, and then you just ignore that. And then carry on with all the good things that you have.
There's something very interesting. You're canvassing across the country, but you are not campaigning so far in Amethi and Raebareli, the constituencies of your aunt.
Of my father.
Of your father before that. Well, today your aunt and your cousin Rahul. Is that a conscious decision to somehow keep the unpleasantness within the family to a minimum, to contain it somehow?
Yes.
You have consciously refused to go to Amethi and Raebareli?
Yes.
Why?
Because I feel that I just feel that family is more important than politics.
Many people remember this photograph after your grandmother, Indira Gandhi's assassination, of Priyanka holding you as a baby, many years ago. And a lot of people out there I know want to know, what is the dynamic like between you and Rahul and Priyanka? I know Rahul and you have spoken recently, you mentioned that to me, but what is the dynamic? Would you call it friendly? Would you call it hostile? Would you call it tense?
I would actually not call it anything at all, because I'm not going to talk about this. I never speak about family. But I would say that there is room for young people in politics today, and I know I'm giving a diplomatic answer, but that's what I truly believe, that young people must come forward from every party, from every stream of political thought, and they must earn their stripes. Leadership is earned, it's not inherited.
But there was that man in the window when you landed at Bareilly, who said, why can't the day come when all three of you are on the same side? Can you imagine such a day?
At the moment, I'm with the BJP to stay.
But you have taken some gentle swipes at your cousins, which have been reported quite extensively in the press.
Like how?
And there was one saying, "Main leader hu, main leader nahi hu."
Oh, that was a gentle swipe against my aunt, though.
Oh, was it against your aunt? Okay.
I was in the meeting that Mr. Pramod Mahajan had organized for me in Mumbai. I had actually written down a few points of what I was going to say. But then I realized that if I were to go on stage and read even those points, or look at them, or refer to them, then people would say, my God, nobody in this family, except for my mother, can deliver a speech without reading. And I just put the paper aside. And I said, see, there is the paper that I was going to read from. But if I read from it, you would have called me a reader and not a leader.
And so we're back in Delhi after a whirlwind day of campaigning. Varun Gandhi, of course, will hit the campaign trail in another part of the country tomorrow, insistent that while he may have got his entry on a Gandhi ticket, eventually it's performance that will determine whether he survives or doesn't.
Only the weak hide their scars. I want you to scar me and claim me as a pawn in your greater challenge. I want to erase myself in your tired cry. I want to be welcome to the chorus, to step out of my dream, crowded and lonely like my thoughts. The sky is my weakness, open and looking in. Away from protection, there is a desperate calm. How do you know what you know when you know there's nothing?
After a day with Varun Gandhi, with Ajmal Jami, Barkha Dutt, NDTV 24/7.